Why did a man remembered today as a peaceful teacher trigger a reaction so violent that it remains a central controversy of the ancient world? Modern perspectives often find common ground in a single, safe conclusion. Across different secular and religious demographics, these circles overlap at a shared label: Jesus as a wise moral teacher and a good prophet. But the historical records from his own time tell a different story. The people who lived alongside him saw a figure so polarizing that they were forced to either worship him or conspire to execute him. To find the person behind the consensus, we have to look past the modern labels and examine the raw historical evidence of his life. Our investigation begins in the stone-carved streets of first-century Nazareth and Judea. In this culture, the role of a prophet was clearly defined. They functioned as messengers, strictly bound to speak on behalf of God. This diagram shows the formula prophets use to maintain distance. By saying, "Thus says the Lord," the messenger remained distinct from the divine source. Jesus departed from that formula. Historical accounts record him speaking on his own direct authority, saying, "Truly I say to you." He used this personal authority to issue commands that replaced foundational, centuries-old laws. To a first-century historian, this linguistic shift signals a departure from the prophetic tradition. By claiming personal authority over divine law, he stepped outside the functional role of a messenger. As he moved into the desert valleys, he gathered massive followings, and his claims became even more anomalous. Multiple historical accounts record him forgiving people for sins committed against God. This chart shows the hierarchy of first-century Judea. To address a wrong against the divine, a person went through the priests. Jesus bypassed that structure to act at the apex, exercising a prerogative reserved for God alone. This act shifted his profile among the religious elite. He was no longer viewed as a local curiosity, but as a blasphemous threat to the social and religious order. The Roman response reflected that threat level. Roman authorities did not typically use their most brutal form of execution on moralists or wandering teachers. The historical charge against him was a claim to divine kingship, a direct challenge to the sovereignty of the Roman Empire and the local religious leadership. The Roman cross illustrates the severity of that charge. The use of crucifixion indicates that the authorities were not dealing with a simple philosopher, but with someone whose claims threatened the foundation of their power. The historical record reveals a figure whose claims and actions fall outside the category of a traditional prophet. Because his claims to divine authority were so specific, they leave us with three logical options. If his claims were false and he did not realize it, he was deluded. If his claims were false and he did know it, he was an intentional deceiver. If he was neither a deceiver nor deluded, the remaining option is that he was exactly who he claimed to be. The choice between these paths remains with the viewer, but the historical records of his claims and the Roman response to them leave no room for the safe category of a simple teacher.